Welcome to class. Remember the lesson. You're not a baby, and you're not a cow. Cow's milk is for baby cows.
Today we're diving into the world of extreme veganism again. But this time the apple hasn't just fallen close to the tree, it's rolled right into the absurd zone. If you thought that vegan teacher was out there with her aggressive activism, just wait until you hear about her daughter, Tash Peterson. Trust me, this one's a doozy. Now, we all know that vegan teacher, infamous for her cringeworthy songs and relentless shaming of meat eaters. But it seems the mantle of extreme activism has been passed down, and Tash Peterson, her daughter, has cranked things up to a level that even her mother might think twice about. And let's be real, that's saying something. So who is Tash Peterson? If you've been living under a rock, or maybe just avoiding the more chaotic corners of the internet, Tash is an Australian animal rights activist who's made a name for herself by pulling off some pretty wild stunts in the name of veganism. And when I say wild, I'm talking about storming into shopping centers, disrupting events, and even confronting butchers in ways that'd make you question if she's on a mission to save animals or just looking for a fight. Spoiler alert, it's starting to look like the latter.
Who are you going to murder for your Christmas lunch? These are the screams of pigs who are forced into carbon dioxide gas chambers because you chose to pay someone to abuse and murder them so you could eat their bodies.
Here's a classic Tash move, charging into a shopping center, fake blood all over her clothes and a severed pig's head in tow. She's shouting at the top of her lungs about the evils of eating meat right in front of a butcher shop. Because, you know, that's the best way to win people over, by screaming at them while they're just trying to buy some groceries. And in case you're wondering, no, the pig's head wasn't real.
Listen to the victims of your food choices. Animals want to live just like us, and they deserve to live just like us. Stop paying for rape, torture, enslavement, abuse, and murder.
But the chaos? Oh, that was very real. Let's break this down. We've got Tash dressed in her finest bloody clothes, again, fake blood, PETA-friendly and all that, holding a severed pig's head and yelling about how eating animals is akin to abuse. Now, I'm no PR expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not how you win people over to your cause. In fact, this is exactly how you get people to do the opposite of what you want. Just out of spite. Like, if I were in that butcher shop, I'd probably order an extra steak just to make a point. But it doesn't stop there. Tash's antics go far beyond yelling at people trying to buy a Sunday roast. She's taken her activism to events where she has no problem getting up close and personal with the people she's trying to shame. And by up close and personal, I mean almost getting into physical altercations. Yep, she's that kind of vegan, one who's willing to go toe-to-toe with anyone who dares to disagree with her.
6 months old when they were forced into a carbon dioxide gas chamber where they suffocated to death. They thrashed so hard that their feet came off. They burned from the inside out. Get out now. They are just as beautiful as our dogs and cats. They're no different to them. In fact, pigs are more intelligent than dogs. They're the third most intelligent species on this planet. Why are you doing this? Could you shoot him in the head yourself? Could you slit his throat yourself?
Let's talk about this gem of a moment. Tash decides to crash into a butcher shop and things get heated fast. The butcher, understandably not thrilled about someone yelling at his customers and disrupting his business, confronts her. And what does Tash do? She hops over the counter like she's auditioning for an action movie, ready to take on the world. The butcher's just trying to do his job, and Tash is out here turning it into a WWE SmackDown. Honestly, you can't make this stuff up. But here's where things get even more interesting. While Tash might claim that she's all about animal rights, there's a growing sense that maybe, just maybe, she's doing this for more than just the cows, pigs, and chickens. You see, Tash isn't just an activist, she's also an OnlyFans creator. That's right, she's managed to combine vegan activism with, well, adult content. And when you start to connect the dots, things get a bit sketchy.
How many subscribers on OnlyFans do you have?
Just over 2,000.
So, and they subscribe with $16 each, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Are you looking it up?
that's 32 grand a month times 12 months. That's $384,000 a year. So you might be making 400 grand in the next 12 months from your OnlyFans subscriptions.
Possibly.
Probably.
Now, I'm not here to shame anyone's hustle, but it's a little odd, isn't it? Tash spends her days protesting in bloody clothes, screaming about animal abuse, and then switches gears to promote her OnlyFans account. It's like a bizarre mashup of vegan propaganda and risque content that leaves you wondering, what exactly is she trying to achieve here? Is this really about the animals, or is it about the clicks, the views, and let's be honest, the cash? And speaking of cash, let's get into the numbers, shall we?
The largest land-based murder of wildlife is happening in our own country.
I'm definitely not afraid. I mean, I use my body to raise awareness for those who have no bodily autonomy, whether that be topless or close to being nude, and I think it works brilliantly to raise awareness for animals.
From 2021 to 2022, Tash reportedly made a whopping $400,000 from her OnlyFans account. That's a lot of money, like a lot. But here's the kicker. Out of all that dough, she only donated $100 to an animal charity. Let that sink in for a second. She's out here making bank off her so-called activism, but when it comes time to actually support the cause she's supposedly so passionate about, she can only muster up a single Benjamin for the animals? Something's not adding up. So what gives? Is Tash really just in it for the money? It's starting to look that way. When you think about it, her stunts are less about spreading the vegan message and more about grabbing attention, any kind of attention. And what better way to do that than by mixing extreme activism with a little risque content on the side? It's like she's found the perfect formula for controversy and she's milking it, pun intended, for all it's worth. But wait, there's more. Because when you dig a little deeper, you start to realize that Tash's activism might not even be about veganism at all. Sure, she talks a big game about animal rights, but her actions tell a different story. Take, for example, her recent run-in with the law. Tash was charged with 3 criminal offenses after a protest at a restaurant that had banned vegans from their venue, and let's just say the judge wasn't impressed.
As long as I'm getting my message out there, which is definitely what's happening, I don't really care what I cop.
Tash ended up with $2,500 in fines and a community-based order that required her to do 30 hours of community service. Oh, and she's not allowed to leave Western Australia for 6 months. So yeah, things aren't exactly going great for Tash right now. And honestly, it feels like karma coming back to bite her. Because when you spend your days disrupting businesses and screaming at people, it's only a matter of time before you face some consequences. But let's get back to the big question here. Is Tash really in this for the animals? Or is she just using veganism as a way to get attention and make money? I mean, think about it. If she were truly passionate about the cause, wouldn't she be doing more with the platform she's built? Instead, it feels like she's just following in her mother's footsteps, but with a twist that's more about shock value than anything else.
Do you think there's a chance you can put your top on?
Is there a reason why I have to put my top on?
There's a lot of kids and families around.
Right, so is there an issue with the female breast because it's designed for children and babies?
And that brings us to the core of the issue. When activism becomes more about the person than the cause, it loses its impact. People stop listening to the message and start focusing on the antics. And that's exactly what's happening with Tash. Instead of convincing people to go vegan, she's just making them roll their eyes and reach for another steak. And at the end of the day, isn't that the opposite of what she's trying to achieve? So where does that leave us? Well, it's pretty clear that Tash Peterson has taken things way too far. What started as a mission to spread awareness about veganism has turned into a spectacle that's more about attention and profit than anything else. And while she might claim to be fighting for the animals, her actions and her bank account tell a different story. At the end of the day, real activism is about making a difference, not just making headlines. And if Tash really wants to help animals, maybe it's time she rethinks her approach. Because right now, all she's doing is giving veganism a bad name and making a lot of money while she's at it. All right, that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments what you think about Tash's antics. Is she genuine or just another attention seeker? And as always, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Subscribe, motherfucker.